Hello everyone, this is H2Acon here from Online Nights, and I'm here today with another episode of Character Case Files. This episode we're going to be taking a look at another requested character. You've seen him in the games, but he's also featured extensively in the expanded universe. Let's take a look at the backstory of one of the UNSC's great war heroes, Captain Jacob Keyes. Jacob Keyes was born on Earth on the 8th of February 2495. Little to nothing is known about his early life, however we do know that he enlisted in the UNSC sometime in his late teens. He was noted for his ability and received fast-track training, being admitted to an officer candidate school. A few weeks after graduating from the OCS, in 2517, the now Lieutenant Junior grade Jacob Keyes received his first assignment. He was assigned to act as escort to Dr. Catherine Halsey on her journey to evaluate the 150 Spartan II candidates. After that mission was complete, Keyes was then assigned to frontline combat, where he served in the campaign against insurrectionist forces in the outer colonies. Dr. Halsey had even pulled a few strings at Oni to get him a commission to full lieutenant. During the early 2520s, Keyes was involved in a romantic relationship with Dr. Halsey, and their daughter, Miranda Halsey, was born on February 28, 2525. Halsey eventually passed over full custody of Miranda to Keyes in 2531 so that she could focus on her research. This ended with Miranda ceasing all communication with her mother and changing her last name to Keyes shortly afterwards. After first contact with the Covenant Empire in 2525, Keyes joined the fight against the aliens, quickly making a name for himself. When the frigate he was serving on, the UNSC Meriwether Lewis, was ambushed by the Covenant, Keyes received serious injuries while holding off borders. His legs received severe plasma burns and one of his hands was shattered, needing to be rebuilt. With his injuries putting him temporarily out of action, and then finding himself with a young daughter to look after, Keyes took up a job at the Officer Candidate School on Luna, Earth's moon. He taught navigation and soon settled into life at the academy, raising Miranda there. But with the war raging on and the UNSC running out of experienced officers, Keyes would soon be recalled to active service. In 2535, Keyes was brought back into service after being specially selected to serve aboard the UNSC Midsommar Night, a light frigate that had been clad in stealth coating. The frigate was intended to carry out long-range reconnaissance and harass the Covenant behind their front line, calling for a seasoned navigator like Keyes to join the ship's bridge crew under Commander Dmitry Zheng. Around the time of Keyes' reassignment, the Cole Protocol came into effect. Named after its mastermind, Admiral Preston Cole, the Cole Protocol was a new set of regulations that attempted to prevent the Covenant from discovering the location of Earth and other major population centers. As well as various contingencies to stop navigation data falling into their hands, the protocol also dictated that all interstellar travel must be policed by the UNSC. Those willing to travel through slipspace must do so as part of a UNSC convoy. No private individuals or groups were allowed to have navigation data in their possession. On the Midsommar Night's shakedown run, they set about enforcing the Cole Protocol by intercepting any vessels attempting to illegally leave a star system, boarding them, and forcibly wiping their databanks. Things were going fine until Keyes and the ship's contingent of ODSTs attempted to board the cargo ship Finnegan's Wake. They had stumbled into an insurrectionist trap, as explosives in the hangar detonated as soon as their Pelican docked, killing many and making the dropship inoperable. Thanks to Keyes' quick thinking, he and the bulk of the ODSTs were able to escape the booby-trapped freighter before it self-destructed by jumping out through hull breaches and firing their battle rifles to maneuver themselves to safety. Keyes gained a great deal of respect from the ODSTs his plan had saved, and as a token of their regard for him, they gave him the signature ODST tattoo, the Japanese kanji symbol which roughly translates to badass. Following the barely averted disaster aboard the Finnegan's Wake, Keyes in the Midsommar Night was called upon to assist an Oni sting operation. Oni had recently begun to notice a massive influx of Covenant weaponry on the black market, and had managed to pinpoint the source, an insurrectionist group on the outer colony world Charybdis 9. Keyes joined a group of Oni agents in a weapons deal with one of the insurrectionist leaders, however the meeting was interrupted by a local food riot. After finding out that they were UNSC, the angry mob attacked Keyes and the others, forcing the agents to open fire. The violence escalated, and in the end Keyes only escaped alive after ODSTs were dropped in by the Midsommar Night to clear the area. Shortly afterwards, Charybdis 9 was attacked by Covenant fleet. Keyes wanted to stay and fight, however it was decided that it would be a waste of valuable resources to throw away a stealth frigate in a futile last stand. The Midsommar Night was ordered to flee the system, and then pursue the sole lead that they had gotten from the sting operation. the Kestrel. The Kestrel was a smuggling vessel that supplied the Charybdis 9 insurrectionists with plasma weaponry, and the rebels had accidentally let the name slip during the brief meeting. The Midsommar Night spotted the Kestrel fleeing the system as the Covenant arrived, and laid chase. Using their stealth systems, they followed the Kestrel into slipspace, hoping that it would lead them to the origin of the illicit weapons trade. This led them to the 23 Libre system. The human colony there, Madrigal, had been one of the first to be glassed by the Covenant. Upon arriving, the crew of the Midsommar Night discovered that hundreds of thousands of refugees from Madrigal were still living in the system, in an asteroid cluster nicknamed the Rubble. There were also several insurrectionist elements present, and it was from here that the weapons were being sourced, as these insurrectionists had encountered a rogue band of Kigyar and had slowly begun to trade with them. When the insurrectionists discovered the Midsommar Night, they attacked the frigate. Commander Zheng was killed in an explosion, leaving Keyes in command. Keyes reluctantly surrendered, and so he and the crew were promptly captured and locked away. Shortly thereafter, Covenant forces arrived at the Rubble. They too had uncovered the weapon trading, and had also tracked it to the 23 Libre system. They quickly set about attacking the human settlements in the Rubble, and so Keyes and the Unsc Forces were called upon to assist in evacuation efforts. After loading all the civilians into one hollowed out asteroid, that asteroid then went through a slipspace portal with the Midsommar Night, to arrive safely at the human inner colony world, Felak Numa. As well as this, Keyes and the Unsc Forces had also been able to shut down the weapons trading by bombarding the Kigyar base with several smaller asteroids. For both this and for extracting 1 million civilians from behind enemy lines, Keyes was promoted to commander. Years later, in 2552, Keyes found himself in command of a destroyer, the Unsc Iroquois. Whilst on patrol in the Sigma-Octana system, Keyes received a report of a large slipspace mass inbound to the system. He sent an urgent message to Fleet Command for reinforcements, and then rushed to defend the colony. Keyes had been correct in his deduction, and soon 4 Covenant vessels exited slipspace. Alone against a carrier, 2 frigates and a destroyer, Keyes executed a brilliant and brilliantly daring tactical maneuver, which resulted in the destruction of 3 of the Covenant ships and the 4th in full retreat. With Covenant vessels usually being a match for 2 or even 3 Unsc warships, this is one of the single greatest triumphs of the war. The Iroquois' reinforcements arrived just in time as the main Covenant assault force appeared. The Iroquois, after receiving some emergency repairs, joined in the battle, one of the few space battles that the Unsc ever decisively won. Keyes was hailed as a hero, both for his incredible maneuver, which became known as the Keyes Loop, and for warning the fleet in time for them to save the colony. After the battle he was called to Reach, where he was promoted to captain and given a new mission. Keyes was given command of the cruiser Unsc Pillar of Autumn, and a company of Spartan 2s including John 117 and Blue Team. He was tasked with going behind enemy lines to attempt to capture a Covenant prophet, so that the Unsc could use the Hierarch as a bargaining chip to negotiate an end to the war. Unfortunately, this mission was over before it even began. What Keyes didn't know when he took the Iroquois back to Reach was that the Covenant had attached a beacon to the destroyer during the Battle of Sigma-Octanus. This beacon transmitted its location to them, and so Keyes had accidentally led the Covenant to Reach. When the Covenant Armada attacked, Keyes and the Pillar of Autumn joined in the defence of the colony. However, as the battle became lost and their mission now more important than ever, Keyes gave the order for the Autumn to flee the system. As they made the jump to slipspace, Cortana, as the acting ship's AI, inputted a set of coordinates that she had decrypted from a Forerunner artifact. This led the Autumn to Halo Installation 04 and to the events of Halo Combat Evolved. It was here that Keyes finally met his end, at the hands of the parasitic Flood who attempted to make him part of their proto-Gravemind. Jacob Keyes was a highly skilled strategist and an inspirational leader, fully deserving of his many decorations, including his posthumously awarded Colonial Cross, that was presented to his daughter Miranda in recognition of his actions during the Battle of Installation 04. Keyes was a hero of the UNSC, whose heroics were frequently used to boost declining wartime morale. Well, that's all for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please feel free to suggest any other characters you think I should cover. Please like, comment and subscribe for more. I've been H. Wacom from Online Nights, and I'll see you next time on Character Case Files.